What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here in the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a late night edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a president of great content is going live, little neck of the YouTube woods. Coming off a successful day for all, ended up hitting the half unit there for the Seattle money line. Hopefully you were tailing on that. George Springer doesn't go yard there, but the quarter unit, that's lost to the gods. What wasn't, though? The underdog card. Third consecutive MLB underdog card hit in the premium Discord. That's ridiculous stuff for the pick'em people, as well as people I know tail over on Hard Rock. We have AI mapping. No matter who you are, no matter where you live, we have a way of you getting the best odds in your state everywhere. When you go to tails.bet/Lindy, you can sign up for the premium Discord there, which, hey, they said I could go run promo code wildcard one more day because, well, it's just been an awesome time here. Hopefully you've been tailing in the MLB streets for the playoffs, but specifically if you're in the premium Discord, I don't even know what to tell you, man. This has just been the heater of heaters in the underdog streets. NFL, MLB, doesn't matter what your name is, as The Rock would say, or my name's Lindy, tails.bet/Lindy. Promo code wildcard, then we're running it back there. I'll just throw the graphic up for like 2.8 seconds. The whole point is that I want to make it cheap and affordable for everybody to be able to jump into the Discord. And hey, if it isn't your flavor, if it isn't your cup of tea, I do say, F off from time to time. But that's just my way of showing love, except for to my wife, because I love my wife and I want to show her respect at all hours of the day. But $30 off, promo code wildcard, now $19.95. I know it's not the wildcard series, it's the divisional series. Let's get to the 4 games. Lego. All right, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. We're going to be changing this, I believe, to Tails by Odd Chopper very, very shortly, because Tails, that's the company. We want you to tail people. Tails, it's me, Greg Ehrenberg, Lofty, a lot of great people to tail, including Jake Ari in the NHL streets. Hit a banger today. I've been tailing some of his goodness. Excited for the NHL streets. Going to be more involved in that myself. Tailing for the most part, but yeah, going to throw in a play or two when things arise because, well, I like to bet. Like to bet everything, and I'm pretty good at it. Overall, Seattle made me feel pretty good about it on Tuesday. Here on Wednesday, a little bit different situation. And again, starting pitching, seeing how these bullpens match up. Seattle didn't have to burn anybody good. Logan Gilbert, just an absolute goat. He was part of that underdog pick'em card over 16 and a half outs. Process is just rocking in that one. Might even have a late night Lindy's. I'm seeing a lot of really good value already in the MLB streets as I'm populating my card, and there's a different process that goes into that. And we'll talk about that for a specific play in this game. That's why I'm bringing it up here on the onset. We got Bryce Miller on one side, Casey Mize on the other. Casey Mize, we rightfully have picked perfect times over the course of this year to pick on him. In fact, I'm 3-0 betting against Casey Mize on money lines this year, and have taken a lot of his under pitcher props, taken over on his earned run props twice, hit on both of those. I've picked my spots. This is not going to be one of those spots purely because you're going to quick hook anything on the Detroit side. They are down 2-1. This is a do or die game in Detroit for Detroit. And that, I think, brings a lot of wildness into play. Now, on the Seattle side, they have Bryce Miller. They're lined up to have whomever they want there in the Game 5, although I think we all know who that ends up being. Like, come on now. But anyway, the Detroit side of things is very clear-cut. Tariq Skubal, you want him pitching Game 5. You need him pitching Game 5. And yeah, Game 2, they end up losing 2 solo shots by Jorge Polanco, but you're going to pinch hit. You're going to do a bunch of wildness no matter what. And Detroit's already one of those teams that's happy to pinch hit. You do have a number of lefties. And that's the main reason that I'm having a tough time, even though Bryce Miller's numbers are as bad as they are. 48.6% hard hit, 17-degree launch angle, massive power given up to lefties, and he's not going to be pitching in the confines of T-Mobile, which is very pitcher-friendly. Kerry Carpenter, I think he's going to end up on a pick'em card for me, mainly because I'm seeing the opening number at -123. My break even for him is a little bit north of it, but I want to keep in mind that if he's not leading off like he was today, this is not all that advantageous because you might only get 2 at-bats for him before they turn it over to one of the lefties out of the Seattle pen, in which case Kerry Carpenter might get pinch hit for Jahmai Jones. That's a thing that logically could happen, although I do think you want your best players going down swinging quite literally. I would rather have Kerry Carpenter be one who is in the lineup throughout the duration of this game just to deal with like the Brashes and the other guys that are going to come in from the right side. So A little bit of a no ball fake where it's like, I don't want to bet this one yet. It remains a lean, but I think when you're talking about a minus 118 break even for prize picks, 6 picks, or minus 122, it's like right on the threshold of what I'm looking at. Because again, my break even is north of it, but that's assuming at least 4 at bats, which I don't think you can make that assumption when it's a do or die game. If you get into an 8th inning, I doubt they'll do it in like a 5th inning, but like an 8th inning situation where Jahmai Jones makes sense, you're going to pinch hit for him if they have a southpaw on the mound. All right, we move along to our next game, and this one I do have a play for, and it's disgusting. Milwaukee plus 1.5 at Chicago. Notice the total, 6.5. Fuck, it's going to be awful to score runs here in this ball game. Wind blowing straight in Wrigley. These are not the 2 pitchers you would normally see with a 6.5 total. I'll put it that way. Quinn, son of a priest, man. Might be the last time we get to say that, although not likely considering they are the team that is up 2-0. This is dealing with our game 3s, our wave of NLs, and we'll get to them in the last one too with the Dodgers and Phillies. But everybody gets a day off and everybody has their bullpen fully intact as a result. That's a disaster if you're the Cubs, because, well, there's a lot better bullpen arms on the Milwaukee side. So, although Teal Bar, you can play a couple of the matchups left on left if you really want to. But this is really just Quinn Priester is sun running, just completely sun running with Milwaukee. They've won 984,362 consecutive games that he's appeared or something like that. That's what I'm told. Maybe round it up a little bit. But either way, Milwaukee, they have so many guys. You saw Jacob Mizrowski come in and throw hot fire. I mean, the perfect guy to have out of the pen in these kind of situations. Aaron Ashby had a terrible outing, although I still like the stuff. He's still more of a ground ball guy than you might have expected after the Suzuki bomb. -1 or -0.1 degree launch on the season, 282 xWOBA, 314 expected slugging. You just to utilize him in spots where he's not going to face a Suzuki, because that would be very stupid on their part. Although you got guys like Koenig, McGill, Jared, or was it Trevor McGill? Haven't done that one in a while because he's a closer and we don't normally give them the time of day until the playoff times, or when I talk about why I go a first 5 as opposed to a full game. But friends, it must be done. Oh, I should at least talk about the one thing I was noticing on the other side. Jamison Taillon has auspiciously low outlines and things of that nature. With how good the game environment is, I do expect it's going to get bet up a little bit, and I kind of don't care, and here's why. I think you were playing with fire, dealing with like 8.5 and 9.5 outs props for him, purely because the Cubs, if they get into any jam whatsoever, they're going to go pure matchup based. They're going to utilize every arm that they possibly can. And I do think that this number is a little bit short at -115. I'd have them more in the -125 range. So if you're absolutely looking for something else, I don't hate a very small play on the Cubs money line or Cubs is like a parlay piece, because I do think they're still the team that has everything to lose, that will do everything they can to win this game, whereas Milwaukee, they're afforded the opportunity to give their main guys rest, play the matchups whenever they want, and move along with their days. But PCA stolen base, I went through the intricacies of this because this is one of the largest numbers we've seen on PCA. One, he's been terrible. He cannot get on base here lately, and I'm just surprised he hasn't burned me that much over the course of the last month and a half, knowing how much I've bet him throughout this season. But hear me out. You got on Quinn Priester's side, 4 caught stealings, 7 total stolen bases. Good thing I know how to use my fingers. That's good. 7 stolen bases there. But yeah, 4 caught stealings over the course of the season. There were no caught stealings in 03 and 04. And yet he's definitely looked at on Baseball Savant Fangraphs as somebody who's okay at holding runners. Runners don't really attempt all that much, but he had never had a caught stealing along with, Contreras or whomever else might be behind home plate. It's going to be, we know what it's going to be. Stop that silliness. But anyway, the whole point of the matter here is PCA stolen bases up to plus 660. He's been in the 7 hole. They're going to try to attack him with lefties later in the game. That is what it is. And he has been striking out ad nauseum. I can't even say that pinch hitting is completely off the table for him, although because of how good he is at center field, if this is a close game, there's no way he's coming out of the game. But plus 660 has to be bet. I have this break-even number closer to plus 400. That is a ton of value. And hey, that value exists in the home run streets. And here's the thing. I still don't feel great about it. So I played it for a quarter unit, but hey, math is what it is. And PCA stolen base, they're going to have to create and manufacture runs in a awful game environment, 6.5 total. I don't completely hate that idea. I really don't hate the idea of you checking out Tails. You go down to the link below, not the first one, which is going to take you to the premium Discord, promo code wildcard, but the second one, sign up at Tails. Do you want to be an expert over there? Do you have something to offer in the MMA streets, the tennis streets? Hi, I don't give a shit. If you're awesome at it, trust me, we will take notice and we will bet it alongside of you, as well as the over 50,000 people who have already checked out Tails and signed up. You want to be over there. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Well, yeah, I'm Lindy, but I'm just chilling. Be like Lindy, join Tails today. Would love to see you there. Back to the plays we go. What the bloody F was this baseball game? Toronto taking on the Yankees. Rodon doesn't get out of the third. Thank God he got that second walk with the auto to Vlad Guerrero Jr. over 1.5 walks. Talked about it. If I had seen the -110 that showed up on Novik, shout out John the Pedest, that was definitely something that I might have taken advantage of. Go give him a follow too. I think I follow him over on X because I've definitely seen his stuff come across my timeline. Sharp dude. Love having him in the Discord because, well, he is betting. I like people who bet and put their money where their mouth is and track things and do things correctly. That's what I try to do. I practice what I preach, and hopefully you have taken notice here either on Lindy's long balls, Lindy's long shots, the performance of the Discord, which speaks for itself, and obviously the people who are always tracking things alongside me, because otherwise I wouldn't have this job. Toronto, though, +1.5 taking on the Yankees, and boy, oh boy, friends, what a choke job by Toronto there in Game 3. Will this come back and bite them? I don't know. It feels worse when it's a divisional rival that has a ton of familiarity. Feels even worse when they've got the better lineup, and now you are a nearly 2-1 dog here, going up against, well, a Yankees team that has nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain here. Because, yeah, I mean, Toronto went nuclear when they were at home for 2 games, but now it gets a little tight. And we don't even have who Toronto is going to start, I think, on the telecast, if you were listening to it, which, again, sometimes I'll have those on mute because I can't stand some of the announcing and the fact that they don't even use expected numbers. And they say, oh, this guy, he's so hot right now. And it's like, yeah, it's Vlad Guerrero against a lefty in a playoff format. I hope he's locked in. I hope he's attempting things, although you wouldn't know with George Springer's performance at the plate. Woof. Love all that CLV I got. Can I turn that in anywhere? But whatever. We're over it, I think. I'm still not over it. I wanted all the money. But Toronto here in this spot, friends, I think they're going to go to Yo Savage. This is probably the guy that they're going to roll out there, and they talked about it a little bit on the telecast. Although I hate that idea just because he's coming off of an unbelievable outing. I would prefer the extra day of rest for a Kevin Gausman, which was the other option that I know that they had touched on. You could also start off with Eric Lauer, get the left on left going up against, a couple of the pieces, Trent Grisham, Bellinger, Rice, although, Bellinger and Rice, I have no problem even against lefties. Rice, because of the pure power that will come along for the ride once in a while. And Bellinger's just kind of good against both, but Trent Grisham, you kind of neutralize that a little bit. I doubt you go to like a Louis Varland as the main dude. I'm very curious to see who they end up starting. I think, though, there's a part of me that just thinks that they didn't even talk about Eric Lauer, and there's just such a good chance that Eric Lauer ends up being the dude. Just saying. But if you watched that game, you were probably if you're a Yankee fan, you probably had a real damn good time because they come back down 6-1, then it's 6-6 because Aaron Judge, why is he getting pitches? And all of a sudden, we are sitting at a Game 4. They're the clear-cut one, though, and that's where Cam Schlittler comes in. Over 14.5 outs is a lean for right now, but yet again, it's like right on that threshold of pick'em already, and I'm projecting it a little bit higher. I'm hoping that we get all of the books that show up and we get something in the -115, -110 range. I saw some opening at 13.5 with massive vig on both sides of it. Hate when that stuff shows up, but 14.5 outs, pretty neutral splits right now. There's a part of me that just wants to invest in him having a solid outing. Now, we know this is going to be very different than taking on a Boston team that likes to swing and miss, was very aggressive at the plate on Schlittler, and the quick hook possibility, knowing that this is a do or die Game 4 for the Yankees. So Cam Schlittler, over 14.5 outs. I do think that they were able to just utilize Cruz, Duvall, Hill, Williams, Bednar. They are still set up. I didn't say Luke Weaver's name. God forbid if you're a Yankee fan and he shows up in your life, but I will say this one more time. Eric Lauer didn't pitch today. I have a feeling that he ends up being the guy. I don't know if there's anything actionable with him being the potential starter here, but you best believe I'm going to try. If I have to take some unders, I surely will. All right, that was a lot of time and explanation for a lean, but Who was the guy in the in the comment section yesterday saying, "Oh, you never bet spreads or totals"? I literally took Seattle money line. That was the worst video you could have possibly put that on. There's other videos where, yeah, you could probably gripe and say, "Eric, give me my spreads, give me my money lines, give me my run lines, give me my totals," and I will say, or I'll be respectful and I'll just say fuck you in the comment section. But we've got ourselves Philly and the Dodgers, Game 3. Aaron Nola, this version of Aaron Nola 2025. He's had some good, mostly bad, tons of expected numbers all over the place, and we'll kind of break it down in a couple of ways. First off, if you go to his last month of starts, 280 WOBA, 283 xWOBA against lefties is nifty. 222 xWOBA against righties is downright redonkulous. But if you pull back the blinders and look at the entire season numbers, it's a 369 WOBA, 371 xWOBA to lefties, 310 WOBA, 255 xWOBA to righties. Just saying. The lefty problem, I still think, is a little bit of a thing. And why do I care so much about this? Well, the Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani and Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman. And I know the Phillies have Bryce Harper. And I know the Phillies have Mr. Kyle Schwarber. I'll take some shawarma. Yeah, pretty damn good at baseball. It's Yamamoto, man. We got Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound. And boy, oh boy, do I love this guy. I've talked about him all year. Happy I didn't pull the trigger last time around for him because purely I thought there was a chance he got lit up, surprisingly. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. They still found a way to put the clamps down against Cincy because it's Cincy. I just see runs in this game is really what it comes down to. Yamamoto's been one of my favorite dudes, period, this entire year. And yet there's just something about him in the postseason right now with this amount of lefties coming out there. And then Aaron Nola, I get that the expected numbers have been so much better over the last month. I'm not sure that really speaks to a matchup against the Dodgers and pretty advantageous hitting weather and a pretty advantageous hitting ballpark. Give me the over 7.5. I know it's juiced up a little bit there. I would play this up to -125. If you're playing it at 8, I would want -105 or better. Sound great? Awesome. Also, the Dodgers pen. Just going to throw it out there. You never know. And the Phillies pen, not exactly my favorite outside of Duran, who's really good. It's dicey. It's dicey. Got Roki's going to be closing now for the Dodgers. Wild. Sasaki. Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. One more time for the people in the back. Promo code WILDCARD. Would love to see you there. This is the absolute very last day to take advantage. So if you've been thinking about it, hey, I want to know what all this underdog madness is that you're talking about. Hey, I want to talk shit to Lindy throughout 4 baseball games throughout the entire day tomorrow. Well, you can have your wish in both capacities. Tails.bet/Lindy. Would love to have you there. What happened to my hair? And that does it for another edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know if you appreciate me burning the midnight oil. I didn't have to stay up for you. I could have probably gotten this done ahead of time, but I had to get the information for Toronto, New York. It's the only way that I could do anything actionable for you. And I do think Cam Schlittler, that's something that I'm really going to be paying attention to. It's a lean purely because I haven't betted yet. And also, I think there might be some pick'em advantageousness over there, which has just been hot fire for everybody. Hopefully you've been tailing, and if you haven't, well, there's some free bets that I'm throwing out on tails.bet/Lindy every single day. You can look at the pin post there at the top. We're building a really cool thing at Tails, and I hope you're enjoying it. Hopefully you're along for the ride, tailing NHL, tailing tennis, tailing so much stuff that'll buy you some time before NFL on Thursday, before NFL on Sunday, and of course, NBA is back in just over 2 weeks. That is unbelievable to say. But let's get the heck up out of here. Till next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Wednesday. Game 3s and 4s all over the place. Baseball. A lot more bets coming your way from me over at Tails. Bye.